Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So this video is a little bit different. We wanted to do this video for the longest time. I feel like God has placed this in my heart to do, and I never knew when it was the right time. But I feel like today is the right time, especially with everything that's going on around the world. Before we start with this video, I do want to say that, you know, God is with you. I know a lot of people have lost their jobs during this time. I pray for your families, I pray for your friends, I pray for you guys that are watching, that God protects you during this time. With that being said, we're going to dive into our testimony. This is a very touchy subject for us because this is basically what led us to God. And I'm going to start off with my testimony first. So to start off, when I was younger, I struggled a lot with daddy issues because my dad actually got deported. Before we even start, actually, this just comes to show that you should never judge a book by its cover. Because I feel like a lot of people used to judge me, used to judge Mitchell because of his tattoos. And our tattoos, or I don't have tattoos, but his tattoos don't define the person that he is and what God took him out from. So yeah. When I was younger, I used to deal a lot with daddy issues. My dad got deported. I'm not gonna go into full detail of what he did. You know, nobody's perfect, and so for a long time my mom was a single mom. She raised all of us, which I have an older sister, two older sisters, but my older sister got married and lived on her own. So my older sister, my younger brother, and me, and so she raised us by herself. And we used to struggle a lot because she didn't have somebody to help her with bills. We ended up losing our house at one point in our lives, so we ended up moving into an apartment by ourselves. And it was
just like there was like what, 5 people in like a 2-bedroom?
It was really hard. We struggled. There was times that we didn't have food. There were times that we would go to sleep hungry, and it's very emotional because now, like, I don't know, I see life differently. You know, I've become humble because of that. So when I see somebody in need, like, I want to help out because I know what it's like to not have money and to struggle and to be hungry. So yeah, so growing up was very hard. You know, I would get bullied, and people always are entitled to their opinions, you know. And for a long time I just felt so like depressed. I dealt with depression. I used to see my sister struggle with depression too, and for her it was very bad because she was in a abusive relationship with the father of her kid. And so I saw her almost like, I thought I was gonna lose her at some point because she was so depressed and she wanted nothing to do with life. And she used to talk to me and tell me that, you know, she was like, I don't want to live, and it would hurt me so much. So it would put me in a depression because to see my sister like that, and then to see my mom cry because she wasn't able to afford, you know, food or many things. So it was difficult. At one point I was actually introduced to the church that we started going to for a long time by a guy that I used to go out with. He actually took me to that church, and ever since then, you know, I fell in love with the church. I fell in love with you know, the pastors and how they preached. And so, you know, I started giving my life to God then. Then I met him, and I started bringing him to that church too. And so he started, you know, accept God into his life.
Like that was just the beginning of when I started accepting God. Ever since I was young, I feel like I've always struggled with like identity issues. I didn't know who I was deep down inside. Like I just felt like I would follow to things that I thought was cool and stuff like that. And since I was younger, you know, I was also made fun of. You know, when I was like in like 1st grade, there was a little kid that he just ran up to me and he just kissed me in my mouth, and then he ran away. And then, like, you know, I would get made fun of because of that, you know. And because of that, you know, like, you know, you start thinking stuff like, oh, you know, because they used to be like, oh, you gay and stuff like that, whatever. You know, sometimes, you know, as a little kid, you like, you know, you fall for those type of things. You know, the devil has his way of like trying to manipulate your mind and stuff like that, you know. And then, like, all that, at 16, you know, I started smoking weed, thinking that I was cool, you know, following my friends, you know. Basically, like I was saying, like I struggled with identity. So whatever I thought like my friends would do, I would do. Like I was a follower basically, you know. You know, pornography was another thing that I struggled with. It was to the point like when I was 16, when I started smoking and stuff like that. Like me and my friends, we started smoking, you know, something that wasn't even weed, something that I thought was weed. And like honestly, like I almost died. Like, you know, I smoked it, so it was something called K2. You know, I smoked that one time, and then like I ended up passing out. You know, almost like died. Like it's to the point like the nurse and stuff they told me, they was like, you're lucky to be alive, because my heart stopped. And it's to the point they even found like cocaine in my system and all that. And like, you know, it's like it's the things that the devil do to destroy you. You know what I mean? Like I never loved myself. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I just struggled with those type of things. I knew like I felt empty. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know who I was. I was just doing things because I thought it was like cool, the right thing to do. You know what I mean? You know, I always used to follow my older brothers and the things they used to do, even though it wasn't right. And like I would always try to like look like the cool person. I've always had that emptiness, you know, and like I would pray to God, like, God, you know, take me out of this, take me out of this. It would be hard for me to the day, you know what I mean, that I let God into my heart. Like just things just started changing, you know. That's when she came into my life. Like I started praying, and I was like, God, you know what I'm saying? Like, please take me out of this. If you're real, you know, get me out of this. So when I met Jaylene, you know, we started going to church together and stuff like that. And I also like started like falling in love. Like I started figuring out how I was, you know. And like God like took me out of this. Like, you know, I felt his love for me. Like I never thought somebody could love you so much. Like I felt like so different. Like, you know, like he broke every chain, like all that. Like I know who I am now. Like, you know, I don't smoke no weed no more. You know, I don't watch pornography. And I'm not saying, you know, it's been easy. It hasn't been easy, because it's like basically like changing your whole life around from like of many years of doing wrong, you know. But like God has held my hand through all this, through the steps, you know. And like God like really changed my heart. Like I really see things differently, and like in a different perspective. I just used to live life just to live it with no purpose, you know. And like God showed me, you know, that I do have a purpose in this life, you know. And I struggled a lot. Like I literally struggled. Like I never showed nobody, you know, but inside it was hell. Like God is just working in me, he's molding me, you know, to become a better man and stuff, you know. And since I gave my life to God, like things has been so positive, you know. He gave me a beautiful wife. You know what I mean? He gives me a roof over my head. He gave me things that I never saw myself having. You know what I mean? Because I didn't ever see myself in a way that God saw me.
As his wife, because we did get married almost a year ago, I've seen every stage of his life, practically. I've seen when I first started going out with him, when he was just ending his, you know, addiction with weed, and
she's been through it all. Like
yeah, I've been
she's
through it
literally
all.
seen, like she's seen like step by step, and I seen her grow also. You know, we're both like growing together, and like I thank God, because without him, any of this would be possible. I wouldn't even be married. Like I never had a mindset when I was young, like, oh, I'll be married by like 24. Never in my life. You know, it's just God changes your perspective. When you think there's no way out, God says, no, 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 there is one.
So I've seen him transition from when I first met him and him just ending his addiction with weed, to him following God and us going to church together, to him falling back, because when God takes you out of something, the enemy gets super mad. He's like, no, I'm gonna drag you back to where I had you, in this dark pit. So that's what Mitchell struggled with a lot. He was struggling, like the God was on his shoulder, and then the enemy was here, and they were like battling for his life, because he struggled so much. He wanted to go back to his old ways, but he knew inside, like, no, like this is not me. But then he would fall back into the same old routine, and that was a majority of his life with me being in it. Like I witnessed everything. I witnessed when he got baptized for the first time, and I cried my eyes out, because I knew to do that, it was a very big step for him. It was hard because, you know, the enemy had him around his finger for so long.
And the enemy, he still tries to, like, you know, he's gonna be there 24/7, like bothering you. But there's a God that's nobody can defeat him. You know, sometimes even at work they be like when I say I'm a Christian, they be like, how you a Christian with all these tattoos and this and that? Like, people judge. You know what I mean? And that's the best part though about God, because it doesn't matter who you was, what you've done. You know, he forgives you, and you know, he loves you no matter what. That's the message we want to come across with our YouTube channel. We want to show like what God does in our lives. You know, we want to be as real as possible with you guys. We want to connect with you guys, you know, because I know there's a lot of people struggling with the same things that we go through, as if like, you know, daddy issues and like, you know, loving yourself, like as I struggled with identity and all that, you know. And thank God I know who I am. You're not gonna sit here and say it's easy. You know, there's days that I don't feel like praying. There's days I don't want to read my word, but you know, it's discipline and obedience. We try.
Sometimes you may feel like God is not listening to you, because that's how I felt for a long time too. I used to go to my church and just cry and cry and cry because I just did not hear from God, and I did not feel that connection with God. And you know, I wanted it so badly, but you know, you just gotta, when you feel like that, that's because the enemy's putting that in your mind. Oh, that God's not listening to you, so why should you continue to have a relationship with him, you know? So, but during times like that, you need to, you know, discipline yourself, like he said, and you need to, you know, learn to hear God's voice and to tune out any voice that does not belong from him.
Mm-hmm.
So during times like that, just keep praying, and you're gonna hear from God. And God has a purpose for us, for everybody. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, Mitchell could have died that day when he took that drug. You know, he was in a, like, it's to the point that he woke up and he was like, how am I alive? You know, Mitchell is alive because God wanted him to be alive. And many people have prayed over us and, you know, have said that we have huge purposes together. You know, we are meant to do something greater, and God is going to prepare for that. Where he's going to put us through trials and tribulations in order for us to get to that level, to that place that he has set aside for us.
Yeah, with that being said, you know, we're going to end the video with this, you know, with our testimonies. Of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free. You know, we just want to connect with you guys as much as we can. You know, we appreciate each and every one of you guys that take the time to even look at our video. Well, with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your post notification button so you can know when we put up the videos. Peace and love, and God bless everybody.
Bye. Where God guides, he provides.
Amen.
Bye.